Greetings, my dear viewer. You're on the channel The Price of Cheating. The channel is for those who appreciate traditional family values and condemn adultery. So be sure to subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. The evening air carried the mingled fragrances of freshly mown grass and the sweet perfume of blooming roses, a hallmark of the serene neighborhood of Riverbend. Stephen Westbrook, a 35-year-old software engineer, stepped out of his car and let his gaze linger on his house. The modern two-story structure, with its broad windows and perfectly manicured lawn, embodied the life he and his fiancée, Samantha Sullivan, were building. With their wedding just a fortnight away, the home wasn't just a place, it was a symbol of their shared dreams and the love binding them together. Stephen inhaled deeply, attempting to dispel the lingering stress of a grueling day at work. His recent days had been consumed by long hours at the office as he quietly worked on a surprise honeymoon to Santorini, a gift he'd been meticulously planning for months. As he made his way up the driveway, a subtle movement in the living room window caught his attention. His heart quickened momentarily, hoping it was Samantha eagerly awaiting him. However, the sight that greeted him when he opened the door stopped him in his tracks. Samantha stood in the doorway, her dark hair swept into an elegant style. She wore a sleek black cocktail dress paired with sheer stockings and high heels, the ensemble accented by a string of pearls glimmering softly in the evening light. Though she looked stunning, something was undeniably amiss. Her expression, marked by tension and uncertainty, betrayed her outward composure. "Wow," Stephen said, his voice a mixture of admiration and confusion. "You look amazing. Did I forget about a special night?" Her lips curved into a strained smile as she gripped the doorframe. "No, Stephen," she replied, her voice wavering. "You didn't forget anything. We need to talk." A chill settled in Stephen's stomach. The last time she had uttered those words, it was about a spat with her best friend. This time the words felt heavier, more ominous. Looking past her, he noticed a travel bag resting near the door. "Are you going somewhere?" he asked, nodding toward it. Samantha hesitated, her shoulders stiffening. I'm heading out for the weekend," she murmured, her voice barely audible. Stephen's brows knitted in confusion. "What? The wedding is just 2 weeks away? What could be so urgent now?" She folded her arms as though steeling herself. "I've been feeling overwhelmed," she confessed. "Between the wedding, work, and everything else, I need space to clear my head." His confusion gave way to suspicion. "Space?" he repeated, his tone edged with disbelief. "And you decided this without talking to me? Where exactly are you going?" "A hotel downtown," she said quickly, avoiding his gaze. "Alone?" Stephen pressed, his voice rising slightly. Her hesitation was brief but damning. "No," she admitted, barely above a whisper. "I'll be with a friend." Stephen felt the air leave his lungs as her words sank in. His mind raced, grasping for clarity. "A friend?" he asked sharply. "And this friend, he wouldn't happen to be a man, would he?" Samantha's face flushed, her gaze dropping to the floor. "It's not what you think," she stammered. "He's just a friend." Stephen's fists clenched as his frustration boiled over. "You're spending the weekend with another man 2 weeks before our wedding, and you expect me to believe it's innocent? Who is he?" Her silence was deafening. Stephen took a step closer, his voice firm. "Tell me his name, Samantha. Don't make me ask again." Tears welled in her eyes as she finally whispered, "It's someone I've been talking to." "Talking to?" Stephen's voice was thick with disbelief. "About what? Us?" She nodded, barely meeting his gaze. "Yes," she admitted, her voice cracking. Stephen's jaw tightened as he struggled to contain his emotions. "And this someone? He isn't a therapist, a counselor, or a priest, is he?" he asked, his tone dripping with sarcasm. "He's a good listener," she muttered. Stephen threw his hands up in exasperation. "A good listener? You're risking everything we have because some guy decided to lend you an ear?" "I'm not throwing anything away," Samantha protested, her voice breaking. "I just need to do this. For me. For us." Stephen let out a bitter laugh, the sound hollow. "For us? How does sneaking off to a hotel with another man help us?" Her tears spilled over, streaking her makeup. I don't expect you to understand, she sobbed. Stephen's anger gave way to a profound sadness. How long? He asked quietly. What? Samantha replied, her voice small. How long has this been going on? He clarified, his voice trembling. Her lips quivered as she confessed. A few months. But it's not what you think. We've only been talking. Only talking? Stephen's voice was cold. Do you honestly think I'll believe that? I swear, Stephen, she pleaded. It's never gone further than that. Not yet, he shot back bitterly. But that's why you packed the bag, isn't it? Her silence was answer enough. Stephen turned away, running a hand through his hair as he struggled to process the unraveling of his world. He turned back to her, his voice heavy with pain. Do you even love me, Samantha? Or was this all just a charade? Her sobs deepened as she choked out her response. I love you, Stephen, I do. You're everything I've ever wanted, but... Her voice faltered, tears streaming down her face. But that's exactly why I did this. I needed one last experience before we got married. Stephen stared at her in shock. What are you saying? I've only ever been with you, she confessed. And as much as I love you, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was missing out. I just needed to know what it was like to be with someone else before committing to forever. Stephen inhaled sharply, his anger rekindling. So you're willing to throw everything away for a fleeting moment of curiosity? Is that supposed to make this easier to forgive? Stephen's voice was steady but unyielding as he confronted her. This is it, Samantha. If you step out of this house with that bag, there's nothing left for us. No wedding, no future, nothing. Do you understand? Samantha stood immobilized, her tears carving streaks down her cheeks. Stephen, don't do this, please, she begged, her words trembling. He shook his head, cutting her off with a sharp finality. No more lies, no more excuses. Make your choice. Her gaze flickered between him and the door, the weight of her decision pressing down like a suffocating fog. Seconds stretched into eternity before she clutched the bag closer to her chest and whispered, I'm sorry. Stephen's heart fractured as he watched her turn and leave. The click of the door closing behind her echoed like a gavel, sealing the end of their shared dreams. Left standing in the empty foyer, Stephen felt an avalanche of emotions crash over him. His mind raced with relentless questions. What had gone so wrong? Could he have changed the outcome? And now, with the life he knew in ruins, what was his next step? That night, he sat alone in the dim glow of his living room, nursing a glass of whiskey. The liquid burned as it slid down his throat, mirroring the anger and pain roiling within. Thoughts of betrayal swirled like a storm. Though he didn't know the man's name, Stephen vowed to uncover the truth. Samantha's actions demanded answers, and he wasn't about to let this end quietly. The following morning, he dialed Alex, an old friend from college, who had transitioned into a career as a private investigator. Alex, it's Stephen, he began, his voice raw and strained. I need your help. Samantha's been seeing someone else, and I need to know everything about him. Without missing a beat, Alex replied, I'll get on it. Give me a couple of days. When the call ended, Stephen's eyes landed on the engagement ring sitting on the coffee table. The sight of it stirred a complex mix of sorrow and resolve. Samantha had shattered his trust, but he wouldn't let her betrayal go unanswered. 2 days later, Alex called back with news. His name is Victor Tomlinson, Alex reported. He's a marketing consultant at her firm. Divorced, mid-40s, no kids. They've been meeting regularly, dinners, drinks, and last night they checked into a hotel downtown. Stephen's chest tightened. Do you have proof? Photos and receipts, Alex confirmed. I'll send them over. Moments later, Stephen opened the email. His hands trembled as he clicked through the images. Each one was a dagger. Samantha and Victor sharing laughter over dinner, their hands entwined as they walked into a hotel, the time-stamped receipts confirming it all. Stephen's anger ignited like a wildfire. He had given her an opportunity to confess, but she had chosen deceit. She would pay for that choice. Over the next few days, Stephen meticulously crafted a plan. The sting of betrayal still fresh, he refused to let the pain consume him. Samantha had underestimated him if she thought she could betray him without consequences. The first step was protecting himself. He scheduled a meeting with Claire Hartman, his astute and no-nonsense lawyer. Claire listened carefully as Stephen explained the situation, her brow furrowing with concern. He handed her a list of his assets and said, "I want it all secured. The house, the accounts, the car, everything." She nodded confidently. "Since you're not married, she has no legal claim. But we'll make sure there's no room for complications. Leave it to me." For the first time in days, Stephen felt a flicker of relief. Samantha might have broken his heart, but she wouldn't take anything else. That evening, another email from Alex arrived. This time, it contained a detailed report on Victor, his home address, work history, and even the car he drove. One detail leapt out. Victor wasn't just a colleague, he was Samantha's boss. The revelation turned Stephen's stomach. "Can you dig deeper?" Stephen asked Alex over the phone. "What exactly are you looking for?" Alex inquired. "Anything shady, financial misconduct, a criminal record, skeletons in his closet, whatever you can find." Alex chuckled darkly. "Consider it done." The next day, Stephen set his plan in motion. Using a fake email account, he attached the incriminating photos and crafted a scathing message. He sent it to Samantha's family, closest friends, and co-workers. But he didn't stop there. The photos were forwarded to a popular gossip blog notorious for exposing workplace scandals. Within hours, the story broke with the headline, "Marketing Boss Caught in Affair with Engaged Employee." The fallout was immediate. Samantha's phone was inundated with calls and messages. Friends and family bombarded her with questions and condemnations. Her mother left a voicemail laced with anger and disappointment. Stephen observed from afar as the carefully constructed facade of Samantha's life began to crumble. But Stephen wasn't finished. Later that week, Alex called back with a triumphant tone. "You'll love this," he said. "Victor's been embezzling funds from the company. Nothing obvious, but over time he's skimmed a significant amount." Stephen's lips curled into a cold smile. Perfect. He forwarded the evidence to the company's HR and legal teams. It didn't take long for them to act. By the end of the week, Victor was escorted from the office, his career in shambles. On Saturday, Samantha appeared on Stephen's doorstep, her polished exterior replaced by desperation. She pounded on the door until Stephen finally opened it, his face an unreadable mask. "What do you want?" he asked coldly. Tears streamed down her face as she stammered, "Stephen, I made a mistake. Please." "I made a grave error, one I can never undo. But my love for you never wavered." Samantha's voice quivered, her eyes glistening with remorse. Stephen let out a sharp, mirthless chuckle. "Love? Is that what you whispered to Victor when you snuck into his hotel room?" Her face paled, as though struck by his words. "It wasn't like that." "Don't even try!" Stephen cut her off, his tone booming, his fraying patience giving way to raw fury. "I gave you every opportunity to be honest, but you chose deceit. You chose to walk away. You've destroyed everything we had." He pressed on, his voice breaking as he spoke. Samantha sank to her knees, tears cascading down her cheeks. "I was confused, Stephen. I didn't know what I wanted then, but I do now. It's you. It's always been you." She raised her tear-streaked face to him, desperation etched in her features. "Please let me fix this. Give me another chance." Stephen's gaze was cold, his emotions a chaotic mix of pain and anger. "You still don't understand," he said, his voice chillingly composed. "This isn't about second chances. It's about accountability," he continued, each word landing like a blow. "You didn't just hurt me, you humiliated me, and now you're finally reaping what you sowed." Samantha's cries grew louder, her voice cracking with desperation. "I'll do anything, Stephen. Anything." He bent down, meeting her eyes, his voice low but laced with venom. "You've already done enough." Straightening, he motioned to the sidewalk. "Get up, leave, we're finished." The final cut came days later. Stephen sent proof of Samantha's affair with Victor to her company's CEO. While Samantha wasn't implicated in Victor's embezzlement, their relationship was scandalous enough to destroy her reputation. Her firing was swift and merciless. Through mutual friends, Stephen learned Samantha had moved back with her parents, unable to manage her expenses alone. Victor's fate unraveled even faster. His finances came under investigation, leading to a full-blown inquiry. As the months rolled on, Stephen began to rebuild the life that Samantha's betrayal had shattered. He sold the engagement ring he had once offered her, donating the money to a local nonprofit. The home they had shared was listed for sale, and Stephen moved to a new area, determined to start fresh. One quiet afternoon, as he sipped coffee on the balcony of his new apartment, his phone vibrated with a message. It was from Alex. "Victor's been sentenced. 3 years for fraud." Stephen exhaled slowly, a faint smile tugging at his lips as he closed the message. For the first time in what felt like an eternity, he felt a sliver of peace. Samantha's treachery had nearly broken him, but in surviving the ordeal, he found resilience he hadn't known he possessed. He vowed never to allow anyone to exploit his trust again. The wounds would take time to heal, but one truth was certain. He had emerged stronger, tempered by the storm he had weathered. This concludes the story. If you like it, then put your powerful like and subscribe to the channel.